This 8th of July picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, July the 7th, and we are here to handicap a full slate of action for Tuesday, the 8th of July. Round about 8 weeks running, the Monday special with me and my co-host, Mr. Lonte Smith. Lonte, it was another good one last week, I think. We done okay?
Yeah, man, we did okay. I had a pretty good week as well. Dialed back on the volume, but still overall pretty good week. I thought we did good Monday. I think me and Scott did okay over the weekend as well. So yeah, man, it's always good on Monday to get it, like I said, to get things started. You get a clearer view, kind of recap the weekend, get your thoughts in order for that, and then we're on to new series for the week. So yeah, I love the Monday shows. Good recap and reset. So hopefully we can do it again, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
We
think
hit
all
both
the
of our
locks
home
were
run
on.
plays, right?
Yes, was that last week? I couldn't remember because we do
Yeah, it
so
was
much
last.
of this shit.
Yeah, it was last week. It
If
was
that was
last week.
2 weeks ago or last week, but we both hit with.
Yeah,
Can you remember who it was?
I had Brandon Lowe,
You did.
and I
We
forgot
I
who
messaged
you.
you about it, didn't I?
Yeah, you had I can't remember who you had, but you got a winner too though.
Yeah, we should be able to remember this. Really did right. I'm just gonna go back through the. I'll tell you what we did do. Completely mushed Jeremy Pena. Mentioned how good
Oh
he'd
yeah,
been lately, and literally within, I'm gonna say 8 minutes of us finishing the show, we managed to get it completely and utterly mushed. I can't find it now. Anyway, it was a winner. Who cares? We're not living on last Monday's glories. It's a load of bollocks. We won Lonte, and that is what we'll be remembered for. I was a bit gutted last night to miss out on the Paul Skeens system. We've done that. We've had that. Oh, I've had that on Monday and Tuesday with either you or Dylan. A lot
yep.
recently. Skeens has been falling on for the Monday and Tuesday shows, but he pitched Sunday night and lost 1-0, kind of like they do. And I don't know what the price was. Probably it would have been close to even money, but yeah, it was a great fit. And you see that 1-0 scoreline, and you can't help feel for him that he's pitched another absolute gem and got nothing to show for it. I've actually got possibly this stat of all time on the Pittsburgh Pirates, but I'm going to come to that when we do the Pirates game. I don't want to go off too soon. I don't want to peak too early. Who's in the chat? All the shrewd tonight. Oh my days! There's like a panel. You know, you go like a fantasy football conference, and there's a panel of experts. This is these people in the chat tonight, Lonnie. It's a panel. Jason was first in. TVDBJ, Captain Insano, who was terrifyingly good. Welcome along, everybody. If you want to join the panel, say hello in the chat and give us your picks as we go along. Every podcast on the SGPN network is free. Just get it wherever you get your podcasts. Scott has been smashing Wimbledon at the moment. He's been complaining about the British and the British customs and the tennis, and he thinks I don't notice, but I have noticed. So I'll be having words with Scott next opportunity. But we will start Tuesday's slate with handily at the top of the page. 6:35 Eastern first pitch between the New York Mets and the Baltimore Orioles. Clay Holmes for the Mets. For the Orioles, it will be Brandon Young who goes to the mound. The Mets here are minus 130. Orioles are plus 110. And the total is at 9.5. I amazingly just thought the Mets were a big price here. Just the Baltimore pitching. They had a better series. Oh, sorry, they had a better homestand actually last week. They won the series against the Brewers and they won the series against the Yankees. It took Max Fried basically to get the Yankees to win any kind of game last week. So two good series for the Mets who head out on the road again. But Holmes has been very, very good. 279 road ERA so far this season. And Brandon Young just hasn't. He's struggled. 0-3, 7.02 ERA. Really struggled against right-handed bats. So I think if you're looking for player props tomorrow, the Polar Bear, Frankie Lindor, people like that. The Baltimore defensive metrics are lacking. The bullpen, 5.12 ERA in the last 10 games. Couple of totals wise, 8 of the Mets' last 9 games have gone over. And at Baltimore, between these two, the overs hit in 7 of the last 8. So 7 of the last 8 Orioles-Mets games at Camden have gone over. But with Holmes, I was just happy to fade Young, basically. I kept it incredibly simple. I'll take a New York Mets team total, Lonte.
Yeah, I think similar handicap for me. Both of these teams have pretty good weekends, especially the Mets. Always good when you can win a series versus the Yankees. They took 2 of 3. Baltimore's playing well. They won 6-10. They swept Atlanta this weekend. So, Atlanta is not technically a good win anymore, but they did go 4-2 on a road trip. But again, I kind of echo some of the sentiments that you were talking about with Young. Kind of wanted to fade him. I thought 130 was a fair price. I wanted to lay a little bit less than that, maybe like 120-ish, but maybe a parlay piece if you want to throw it together. I like the over. Both offenses have been hitting the ball pretty well. You talked about the Mets over in 8 of 10. They've scored 6+ runs in 3 of their last 5. Baltimore offensively has been hitting the ball well. Also, Holmes has been good, but he has had some walk issues, 14 walks in his last 3. So if Baltimore can kind of get guys on, then they may can convert for a few runs. I'm not asking for a ton. I just need to get like 3 or 4, and I think the Mets will handle the rest. So I like over. I completely agree with your team total over. If I had to make a play on the side, it would be the Mets. But I think the Mets is a really, really good like Kickstarter for a parlay piece.
It gone early. Lonte's putting up the 15-leg parlay already. He's not messing about. Captain Zero mentions a good angle in Juan Soto snubbed for the All-Star game. This is almost a revenge game. I don't like this. But revenge snub props for Juan Soto and Captain Insano. Skrills has joined us from the curb. Indeed, Skrills, let's eat tonight. Next up is 6:40 Eastern. First pitch between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Detroit Tigers, where Ryan Pepio will go for the Rays, and Jack Flaherty is on the mound for the Tigers. -125, the Rays, +113, the Tigers. Lonte, the total is 9.
Yeah, I like Tampa here. I think I've been betting Tampa every time I've been on the show for the last week or so. But I don't really trust. So I think we just got a mismatch pitching wise. Pepe has been really good. He doesn't allow a lot of contact. I do think Detroit has been winning games despite their offense not really being in the upper echelon. Still pretty good, but just they haven't been in the upper echelon as their record would indicate. Pepe has had 2 earned runs or less in 3 of his last 4. He's got a good swing and miss stuff, 7+ Ks in 4 of his last 6. And he even faced off against Detroit on June 21st. 1 earned and 5 1/3, only on 3 hits. So he's seen him before. Tampa is trending down a bit, losers of 5 of their last 7. But I do think this is a good spot for them, especially in the pitching matchup. He's had 1 good start, 1 really bad start. So not a ton to look at there. But I do like Tampa. I'm going to go with the over as well. All 3 of the games in the prior series between these two went over. 12, 11, and 22. The totals were around 8, so I think this can fly over. Both teams hitting the ball pretty well, each around like 260 plus. If you average out their runs per 9 in the last 10, it's about 10.6 runs per 9. So I like over. I like Tampa. I think Tampa's a really good bet here.
Jason pointing out that Yandy Diaz is normally all over Jack Flaherty like a cheap suit. So Yandy Diaz props might be the way to get involved in this one. I'm pleased you mentioned the total, Lonte. Tigers totals are often to be avoided. We mention a lot that the Tigers' MO can be run prevention. But you mentioned a lot of the salient points here. That Pepio's been relatively solid. That good performance on June the 21st, you mentioned, 7 strikeouts went well. I just couldn't really pull the trigger on the Rays as favourites because the Tigers are good. They're a good team. The home record's outstanding, 30 and 14. So I did take the over. Flaherty's ERA has ballooned, 21 earned runs in last 4 starts. Right-handed power bats have completely lit him up, to Jason's point, Andy Diaz. He gave up 8 earned runs against the Rays and 2 1/3 on June the 20th, the day before Pepio pitched. 6 out of the last 10 matchups between these two have gone over. You mentioned 3 out of 3 in the last series. The Rays have given up 5 or more in 5 of their last 7. And I was happy to fade Flaherty. So, yeah, runs all over the shop. We'll take an over 9. Next game on the board is 7:05 Eastern between the Seattle Mariners and the New York Yankees. It is Logan Gilbert of the Mariners taking on Will Warren for the Yankees. Plus 107 Seattle, minus 128 the Yankees, with the total up at 8.5. I just thought this was it's a WTF, Lonte. We got a wrong team favourites here. The Yankees have been rubbish and got a win yesterday. They needed their absolute stud pitcher to go out and throw a gem to be able to win a game. They're the circumstances in which the Yankees can be bet on at the moment. And even then, it wasn't very convincing. Seattle coming off 3 shutouts for the first time ever in their history, which is pretty impressive. I don't know if anyone noticed the Yankees lost Clark Schmidt to Tommy John surgery for the rest of this season and the entirety of next season. That's a bit of a downer for them. But Gilbert's been great. 2-2, 3.40 ERA. Opponent batting average of 198. 74 strikeouts in 50 1/3 innings. So if you want a Gilbert K prop, go for it. The Yankees don't mind a bit of swing and miss. Will Warren gave up 8 earned runs last time at the Blue Jays. He's been okay at home, I'll give him that. But the Yankees have just cooled right off. Seattle are the better team lately. The win-loss record will tell you that recently. More runs per game. And we get the better pitcher. And also the Yankees bullpen had a busy weekend. Yeah, I think that Seattle is an underdog, Lonte, plus 107, please.
Yeah, I like Seattle as well. The thing that kind of it's kind of making me like not love it as much is Gilbert has struggled in his last 2 on the road. He's got 4 earned in each of his last 2 on the road. But again, the Yankees just struggling offensively. They did take 2 of 3 in the May series in Seattle, so maybe Seattle's in for a little bit of payback here. Each team did win a 1-run game in that set, and then the Yankees won 11-5 in the other game. But I mean, Yankees is not playing well. 3-7 last 10, 1-6 on their road trip. They're losing by an average of about 3 runs in those 6 losses. So it's just not good. I'm not really the biggest Warren guy. Like you said, he does pitch better at home, but he's got some walk issues. I just think Seattle, they hit righties pretty well on the road, about 260. The offense has been not as good as the numbers indicate as of late, but still, I think they can be able to score a few more runs than the Yankees here. So I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners at the plus money. I looked at the over as well. Now, I looked at the over, but I'm not going to bet it, but that's something that was intriguing for me.
Okay. We'll move on. Eli's joined us in the chat. Eli enjoys his Mondays. Welcome along, Eli. Great to have you. If you think you're no ball, Circa's Survivor contest and the Circa Million, $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There's no rake, so if the entries go above the guarantee, all the extra money goes into the pot. In the Circa Million, you pick 5 teams ATS every week. There's even the Circa Grandissimo $100,000 Survivor contest. Register in person at Circa Sportsweek in Nevada. But you can sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com, use the promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Thing to do is head to mybookie.ag, use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply at mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the Colorado Rockies at the Boston Red Sox, where Kyle Freeland draws the start for the Rockies. For the Red Sox, it will be Brian Bello. Colorado plus 150. Boston minus 182. I forgot to write down the total, Lonte. You can tell us that as you give us a winner.
I think it's 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 8.5. I'll fact check that, but either way, I'm gonna go with. I wanted to bet Boston and the over, but I'm just gonna pivot and go with the team total over. Bayo's been really good, 2 or less in 3 of his last 4. He's really solid at home. Boston's offense has been, pretty good over the last, this weekend. They swept Washington and scored 27 runs in the process. They've won 6 of their last 10. Freeland's been okay, but he does pitch to contact, which is not so good against how well Boston's offense is going. They've scored 5+ runs in 6 of their last 10. They're hitting around 300 the last 10, 7.1 runs per 9 in that span. So I think it's pretty cut and dry for me, man. I'm going to fade the Rockies and bet on the Boston Red Sox to hit a lot of runs. So I think they might can get over that total by themselves, to be quite honest with you, especially if Freeland doesn't have it early on and they get to that bullpen a little bit earlier than expected. So I like a Boston team total over.
Yeah, it's hard to find anything a really imaginative angle into this. We're not going to win any prizes for these picks. Freeland, 1-9 ERA. 1-9 record, 5.49 ERA. It's quite an ugly jumping off point when you're trying to handicap a game. It's got a really high home run to fly ball rate, which I don't think will help in this little park here. He has struggled to keep it in the yard as well. Boston scoring 6.18 runs per game at home. Brian Bello has pitched at home a lot. 14 starts, 10 of them have been at home. So he's quite settled in here. 3.60 ERA. June was great. The Rockies just don't hit, do they? Last 30th in MLB, WRC plus slug. It's all just a bit of a mess. Boston team total or a Boston run line, 6 and 2/3 to me. It's all the same. Nathan's joined us in the chat. Nathan's been free rolling down at the casino today. Well done, Nathan. Love anything like that. 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The Miami Marlins at the Cincinnati Reds. It is Yuri Perez for the Marlins and Nick Martinez for Cincinnati. Plus 106. The Marlins minus 120. The Reds. Total here is at 9. The two starting pitchers here have relatively similar sort of lines in terms of ERA and whip and stuff like that. But it's no secret at all that Yuri Perez has the big upside. I've really enjoyed him since he came back. He's starting to put it together. He put together his most complete start yet, actually. 6 scoreless against the Twins last time out. The only thing that put me off here taking the Marlins was Martinez does better at home and Cincinnati do better at home. So if you put a gun to my head, I would take the Marlins as a little underdog. We do this every Monday. I mean, we must be on 7 or 8 weeks in a row of taking the Marlins, and successfully. They've done us, they've done us proud. But with Martinez at home, I'll take a first 5 under. This total's quite high, actually. 9. I just didn't really want to factor in what might happen late in the game. So a first 5 under between the Marlins and the Reds, Lonte.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you on a lot of this game. I'm going to go over simply because of what you said. Like, it's kind of unpredictable on the back end, and Cincinnati's offense is better at home. And Miami's offense has been really good. I mean, they hit the ball really well on the road. They're above 260 on the road. They've won 7 of their last 10, but they were 3-3 in their 6-game homestand. So that's something to kind of peel back to. And I do like Perez. He's off that 6 scoreless, that 6-inning scoreless start that he had versus Minnesota. He had 20 swinging strikes. So he's got good swing and miss stuff. He's gotten better with each start. But again, I mean, I think Cincinnati at home could kind of get to them, and they hit righties well. The bullpen has not been good over the last 10 for Cincinnati. Martinez has got a high hit rate if you factor that into the way Miami's been playing on offense. I think we can go over this number, man. So I'm going to go over. If you put a gun to my head, I would probably bet Cincinnati at home, but I don't love it.
Jason likes the under on the Yuri Perez hits,
I
4.5.
like that.
If you can get
Yep.
that line, then the under 4.5 Yuri Perez hits is the line there. Gio has joined us in the chat. Gio, welcome along. Love having you as always. Next game is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Kansas City Royals, which is a 7:40 Eastern first pitch, where Mitch Keller goes for the Pirates and Seth Lugo will go for the Kansas City Royals. Plus 118, the Pirates, minus 140, the Royals, and the total is at 8.5. And I promise you, the stat, Lonte, there's a lot of baseball goes on. It's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of it. The first time ever, the last 6 games, Pittsburgh won 3 shutouts and then followed it up by losing 3 shutouts. Never happened before. 3 consecutive shutout wins followed by 3 consecutive shutout losses. The fact that stuff like that can still happen is absolutely astounding. Whenever you see a scorigami in the NFL on a Sunday, that blows my mind. Like it might be like 51-17. But I think there must have been a 51-17 at some point in the past. And you get 4 or 5 scorigamis a season. Yeah, that shit blows my mind. It's a good stat. Lonte, give us the winner.
That's actually a great stat. And I didn't have the stat that you had. I just had the scoreless over the weekend at Seattle, which was pretty telling. And they went 6-0 in their homestand. And they're a different team at home than they are on the road. They struggle mightily on the road. But I do like Keller. I do like Lugo. I think this is a deadness under. Pittsburgh's under in 7 of the last 10. They're hitting under 210 on the road, 2.8 runs per 9 in the last 10, that is. Kansas City's under in 6 of the last 10. You never can really trust their offense. And if you talk about Keller, I mean, Keller's actually been in some trade rumors. I read that the Mets are interested. So he could be on the block here. We got trade deadline coming up at the end of the month. So that's something to watch out for. He's won his last 2 starts after not registering a win in his previous 15 starts. But he's pitched well. His numbers are still good. The Pirates just can't give him any kind of run support. So I do think both pitchers can go well. Lugo's 1 earned or less in 5 straight. 3 of his last 4 have been on the road. So at home in his last 2, he's pitched 11 1/3 innings versus the Dodgers and the Yankees, allowed 0 runs. And those 2 were at home. So I think we see a 3-2 type of game now. I'm not sure who's going to win. I would probably put a little bit more faith in Kansas City being that are at home, and Pittsburgh. I mean, both offenses have struggled, but I think Kansas City has a little bit more firepower than Pittsburgh does offensively. So let's go 3-2 Kansas City at home.
I knew this was the game I've written down in my notes. Lonte will give out the correct score of this game because I've made the correct score. I've got 4-1 Kansas City. So we're not far away, Lonte. I think we need to start seeing other people. Talking of trades, Newcastle spent 55 million quid tonight on a new Swedish right winger, and I'm well excited about that. The first line of my notes says that I think Mitch Keller might be traded to the New York Mets. So yeah, I'm on the same rumour mill as you as well, Lonte. This is getting out of hand. He has been pretty solid. The 3-10 record isn't great, but a 3.64 ERA, 119 WHIP is fine. I think he's been slightly unfortunate. 3.16 on the road, but Lugo 2.65 ERA, 6 games giving up maximum of 1 earned run. Pittsburgh stopped scoring again. As we just mentioned, 3 shut out 3 times consecutively. It's just a plain old under. Why is the total all the way up at 8.5? By the way, that's fucking insane. All under 5.5 is the answer.
Yeah. I have no idea why. I have no idea why it's that high.
It's either going to finish 3-2 or 4-1 to Kansas City. So, we've sorted all of that out for you. Easy. Next, I will tell you about Underdog Best Ball Mania happening all summer long. $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Our code is MLB SGPN. That will get you a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. And finally, you've heard us talk about rhythm plenty before on the show, and they've just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends and start betting smarter. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. 7:40 Eastern, the Chicago Cubs are at the Minnesota Twins. Left-handed pitcher Shota Imanaga for the Cubs is one of the biggest names in baseball. Simeon Woods Richardson goes for the Minnesota Twins. The Cubs here trade at -142, +120. The Twins total sits at 8.5. Cubs carry on just being quite good. Lead MLB in run differential, +126. Imanaga came back from the IL and has been good enough to land 2 wins in his first 2 starts. And I think he should improve again. He's rocking a 0.88 whip, which tells you what the Twins will have to deal with here tomorrow. Woods Richardson's all right. He's decent. He throws the odd good start. He's inconsistent, but he had a good June and a decent start of this month. But the Cubs are 12-4 against AL Central opposition, which is a great number. The Twins are 4-11 straight up against left-handed pitching. Just all points to the Cubbies. -142, a little bit on the skinny side, but it's a perfectly fair price because I think they'll win. So I'll take the Cubs.
Yeah, you know what, Mel? I like the Cubs as well. Like I said, I think that they're a good parlay piece for the first game we talked about, which was the I forgot who the first game we talked about, but I think it's a good parlay piece. I forgot who it was, but the Cubs, man, Mets, yes, Mets. There we go. I think Cubs Mets, good parlay piece. That'll pay you probably around like 150, 160-ish. But yeah, the Cubs, man, really good. Let me ask you, like, do you think the Cubs need to add another arm in a rotation?
Possibly.
Yeah, like a right-handed.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so. I mean, I'm just looking at
full rotation. Now, have they got players to come back though? The Cubs.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So, I mean, Boyd's been great. Imanaga. Well, yeah, they're sort of in rear. Just look at the injured as if they're expecting anyone back, really. Justin Steele's goosed, isn't he, completely?
Yeah.
They'll get Tyone back, and Javier Assad is okay. But if that's the level of player we're talking about, yeah, add one. And why not? I think they will. They don't often shy away from spending. I think they'll have a go.
Yeah, that's just something I was looking for, like postseason wise. I think if they can add another arm to be a little bit more versatile. But I mean, offensively, man, they are just like one of the best offenses in the league. They have an elite road offense, which is always telling of how good an offense actually is. I mean, you read off Imanaga stuff. 2 combined runs in 4 road starts. So he's like been completely dominant on the road. I don't really trust Minnesota. They can't hit the ball under 215 the last 10. They're hitting 230 versus righties. I liked Woods Richardson. I just don't know how he fares well against the Chicago lineup that scored 5+ runs in 6 of the last 8 games. They're hitting around 275 in their last 10. I know, after all of those like gaudy numbers, I'm still looking under, Mal. I mean, I like both pitchers. I don't really trust Minnesota's offense, especially versus Imanaga. The only thing that scares me is that like Chicago rattles off like 6-7 runs, and then the Twins just get 1 or 2 runs, and we go over. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and go under the 8.5 here.
Okay. Next up, we will go to the hottest team in MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays at the Chicago White Sox. 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Chris Bassett will take on Aaron Savale. -176 for the Blue Jays. The White Sox are at +146, and the total, Lonte, is at 8.5.
Well, Mal, it's the same thing, man. First 5 White Sox, full game White Sox. I got to go with it. And actually, the White Sox cost me for my lock on Friday's show. I had the Colorado Rockies versus them, and they came out and won. I should have known better than take the Rockies. But, I mean, if you look at the White Sox, I'm looking at it from this perspective. So Bassett's allowed 11 earned on 16 hits in his last 2. He's got 29 earned in his last 6 road starts. He did pitch well on June 22nd versus the White Sox. He had 1 earned and 6 innings pitched versus them. But again, I think the White Sox are hitting the ball way better over the last 10. They're about 250 on 8 hits, so they're hitting the ball extremely well when they're generally a lot lower than that full season. They're 500 the last 10. 3 out of 5 losses were by the Dodgers, so I mean, no shame in that. The bullpen for the White Sox has been exceptional over the last 10, 2.25 ERA. Toronto's obviously not taking anything away from them. Just 8 wins in a row, 4 of those by 1 run. I think Savale can go a little bit better here. He's had 2 or less in all 3 home starts. He did pitch okay over the last, he's 2 or less in 7 of his last 8. He didn't pitch well against Toronto, 5 earned in 7 innings versus them on the 21st, June 21st. So I think we see a little bounce back effort from the White Sox. And remember, Mal, they took 2 of 3 in mid-June. Both of those wins were by 2+ runs in Toronto. So I'm going with the White Sox first 5, going with the White Sox full game.
I couldn't do it, Lonte, not this week. Completely on the other side. The Blue Jays are just hot. And
I
understand.
I understand.
To ride a hot hand. 8-game winning streak for the Blue Jays. Top of the division, the run differentials in that division made me laugh a lot because the Blue Jays are top +12. The Yankees are then second +95. Fucking +12, +95. The Rays are third +69. The Red Sox are fourth +33. So the Blue Jays, by far, fourth choice in terms of run differential, but they've won the most games, which is the idea. 2 starting pitchers here with a fairly average game log, but one very, very hot team. Chris Bassett does have a 6.38 road ERA. Been fairly poor recently. Savale pitched okay. He kept the White Sox in games, and then they have the inevitable late collapse. So 4 of the last 5, his starts, they've lost on the run line. He pitches all right, and then they'll get done in late on. The last 10 games, the Blue Jays scoring 4.8 runs per game to 3 runs per game for the White Sox. George Springer is red hot if you want some player props. He appears to have sorted out his bat speed and launch angle. Blue Jays got a top 10 pen. White Sox got a bottom 5 pen. I think we might see some runs, so the over's in it. But I just think the Blue Jays run line, if I wake up and see they've won this 8-4 or something with 5 runs from the 7th inning or later, won't surprise me. We both win, Lonte. Take your White Sox first 5. I'll get the Blue Jays to roll them over late doors. Folks in the road is in the chat just asking about the timing of the show, where sometimes you don't have pictures and lines and stuff. Yeah, I get it, folks. We've tried a few different things. The main thing we do with this, it's just to give people a chance to listen. We have some people listen live, but then people that listen tomorrow, it's giving people 24 hours or 20 hours, whatever it is, to consume the show as well. Do you know what I mean? We've normally got more pictures and lines than we don't. So yeah, we try our level best way, but appreciate you joining us, folks. Thank you very much. Captain Insano is asking if I'm wearing sunglasses on my head in the house. I'll tell you why. It's because my hair's like a bird's nest, Captain, right? And normally I've got a cap sitting down here, and I just didn't. So I sat down to do the show, and the nearest thing I could find were me terrible, 80s sunglasses. So I was hoping no one would notice. I'm kind of going for the Alice band thing. But yes, like a prize tit, I am wearing sunglasses on my head in the house. I mean, no one's competing with Lonte's hair, so I shouldn't even try. 7:40 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are at the Milwaukee Brewers. What a great pitching matchup this is. Left-handed pitcher Clayton Kershaw takes on Jacob Misiorowski of the Brewers. It's tight on the books as well. I love this. -115 for the Dodgers, -105 for the Brewers, and the total is sitting at 8. Yeah, just a really good pitching matchup. We had Skeens against Misiorowski last week. We get different kind of vibe here with the gnarly old veteran Kershaw coming off his 3,000 strikeout, the achievement that he hit last week. So there's no notes on Kershaw at all yet. Misiorowski, we faded him last week. We loved him on debut. He was great on debut. We've had the angles in on him correct all the way through. On debut, slight better value. We got him when people weren't expecting it. He then went short, a really short price last time against the Mets, and we got on the other side of him, and he got turned over. So we've kind of read him quite well here. Dodgers, I think you have to take the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. A little bit like there's a price on Philly coming up later on that we couldn't quite believe, Lonte. The Dodgers are averaging 1.3 runs per game above the posted line, which is a pretty impressive record on offense. The run line is hitting in 62% of their games as well. And the Brewers bullpen, I think, has been slightly vulnerable lately. 4.32 ERA in their last 10. I think the Dodgers at minus 115 is absolutely fine. They're the better team. And as it stands right now, in 10 years, Misiorowski might be the better pitcher. But as it stands right now, you have to trust Clayton Kershaw, I think. Not very often you're going to get the Dodgers at minus 115 with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, Lonte. I think we have to take advantage.
Yeah, and I think that was the sentiments that you take every time you see the Dodgers at under a certain price. You just have to bet them on principle. I don't I don't disagree with it. I don't necessarily agree with it on every occasion, but I do think Milwaukee's interesting here. It's a lot of respect for the young pitcher here. I mean, he's come off his worst start of the year. He does have a 10-inning scoreless streak going at home. But this is the best offense he's faced. So I'm interested to see how he does against one of the elite offenses in the league. The Dodgers, they were swept at home by Houston. They got handed the worst loss in, I think, Dodger history at home. So they're probably going to be looking to, come out with some revenge. I like the over though, Mal. I mean, I know that both pitchers are in good form. Kershaw's, faced some below average offenses over the last handful of starts. He has been good on the road. The Dodgers haven't been hitting the ball well, but still scoring. They scored 5+ runs in 6 of their last 10 while hitting right at like about 220 in the last 10. Milwaukee's always been an elite offense at home. They're hitting about 260, averaging about 5.4 runs per 9. So I'm going with an over. I know it's kind of unconventional with two, elite pitchers on the mound, but I'm going with the over. If I had to make a bet though, Mal, I would probably bet Milwaukee at home. But I don't want to bet against the Dodgers, so I'm not going to. And I will bet both teams just score a lot of runs.
Don't you do anything you don't want to do, Lonte. We're not going to make you do anything that you're not comfortable with, mate. You're in a safe space here. Next up is the 8:10. No, it's not. I've missed one out. 7:45 Eastern is the Washington Nationals at the St. Louis Cardinals. Jake Irvin for Washington. Andre Palante for St. Louis, minus 182 St. Louis, plus 151 Washington. Total here, Lonte, is 9. This was quite an uninspiring game to get amongst, I felt, Lonte.
Yeah, so I like the over pretty good. I mean, it opened at 8.5, got bet up a little bit to 9. I think it's still playable there. I know Washington's, they fired their manager. I'm not sure if you get a new coach bump or not. I mean, I don't think Washington's horrible. They're just not consistent. They got some good players. Irvin's been okay. He's got a good record, but I don't think he's quite as good as his record indicates. They went 4-6 in the last 10. They were swept by Boston, outscored 27-9, as we talked about earlier. But Irvin's been, pretty gettable on the road. 4+ allowed in 3 of his last 4 on the road. St. Louis hasn't been any better though. They were swept by Washington in the May series. They swept Washington, in that May series. They outscored them 20-3, but they were scoreless in 4 of the last 6 games. They're known for their offense, but they haven't been up to par as of late. But I think this is a good spot for them. They're back home after a 3-series road trip. They went 4-5 in that span. Palante's been okay, 3 or fewer in 3 straight, 2.22 ERA in that span. He's been pretty good at home, 2 or less in 3 straight. I think it's a good spot for St. Louis. The number is a little bit high for me, but I do think both offenses can get going. Washington's over in 9 of the last 10. I know St. Louis has struggled a bit as of late, but they will hit the ball well at home. They generally play well at home. I'm banking on that. And I think we see a, 7-6, 8-7 type of game. I think we see both teams score above 5 runs.
Yeah, you mentioned the potential of a new manager bounce. Jason's not buying it. Yeah, they got rid of the Pobo today and Davey Martinez. the manager. I can't believe Martinez lasted this long because he went slightly crackers about a month ago. We talked about it on the show where he sort of blamed all the players, and then as he tried to get out of it, he inadvertently said all the coaches were shit. So he just alienated everyone, kind of by accident in the space of 36 hours, and then survived for another 3 weeks. It's just a weird time with the draft coming up next week to get rid of your Pobo. But anyway, the Nationals were outscored 27-9 over the weekend, which probably prompted, that was the final straw for the manager there. This is two pitchers that don't inspire much confidence. And St. Louis aren't the greatest of form. That was the issue. You're right, Lonte. Palante is better than Irvin. But runs, let's take runs. Totals in Irvin's last 3 starts, 18, or his last 4 starts, 18, 24, 10 and 10. That's a lot. But Washington aren't scoring much, 2.5 runs per game in the last 10. So I went with the St. Louis team total. So we're there and thereabouts, Lonte, but I just took a slightly different angle into that one.
I like that.
8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Cleveland Guardians are at the Houston Astros, where left-handed pitcher Joey Cantillo goes for the Guardians. For the Houston Astros, it will be Hunter Brown. Shortest favourite on the card here are the Astros at -210, with the Guardians at +175, and the total here is at 7.5. Now, I'm guessing somebody, we haven't talked about, Lonte, the Luis Ortiz gambling, the spot fixing thing. Someone must have on the show on whatever night it broke last week. Have you seen any of that? Because I remember doing this show years ago when they first started opening up baseball and opening up gambling in the States. And I don't know if I was with Moonaf or Noah back in the day. It was a long time ago. Because we've had this for years in our country. Cricket, football, all of the sports have had it. And this is really the highest profile. It's that spot fixing where you can just throw a ball. It's so easy to do. It doesn't really affect the outcome of the game. It's low leverage. First pitch of the 3rd inning, I'm going to throw a ball. But people always make it so fucking obvious. You could do a better job. He spikes it nearer to his own feet than the plate. I don't know if you've seen the couple of clips.
I haven't seen the clips, but I've read a little about the story, but not a ton. But I have seen and heard about it, but I just haven't seen it in depth. I have to go look at the clip when we get off of this.
First one's a shocker, like absolute shocker. He nearly pitches it on his own toes, like doesn't reach halfway down. Just do it, practice it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to practice putting this a foot outside or something. I don't know. Don't throw it there though. If you're going to get caught. We had a bloke in the Premier League last year who got. He was getting himself yellow cards. He was getting himself booked on purpose, and all his mates in Brazil were backing it. But it was just, again, be more crafty. It was the shittest, most obvious yellow cards that you'll ever see. Like, I'm sure I could do a better job. What we talking about? Cleveland. So yeah, Cantillo. Well, first off, I'll start with this Cleveland incredible losing streak. They're on 10 now. 10-game losing streak for Cleveland. So well and truly off the on the no-bet list. Cantillo will pitch round about 3 innings as an opener. He might go okay, but Cleveland have lost 7 of his last 8 appearances, even if he does go okay. Brown's been absolutely bulletproof. Houston have just put 29 runs on the Dodgers over the weekend. I mean, the Houston pitching has given up the 2nd fewest total runs in MLB, 325. Cleveland ranked bottom 5, and they're only averaging 3.1 runs per game during this 10-game losing streak. Browns are stud. I looked the Cleveland team total under, but I just think Houston on the run line is a bit of a safer bet because it could be, it could be anything. Houston run line is the answer, Lonte.
Absolutely, man. Gio just laid it out for me as well. I mean, I'm 1.5 at plus money. Hunter Brown's been dominant, 1.82 ERA. He's got 2 or less in 7 straight, 3 combined earned runs in his last 6 home starts. So he's been lights out. Houston's been one of the hottest teams in baseball. They've dominated Cleveland over the years. They've won 8 of the last 10 meetings, including 3 or 4 this year in Cleveland. We talked about what they did against the Dodgers. Not sure any team will have a more impressive series than what they had last week, and that's without Jeremy Pena and my guy Jordan. So like that just goes to show you how good of an organization and a team. I mean, they had some cheating stuff in between, but still, they've just like Houston has just been so good for so long. It's crazy. So in this spot, I think -1.5 plus money is a gift. Cleveland, you talked about that losing streak. They only scored over 2 runs twice in their last 10 games. They're hitting under 200, actually under 180 the last 10, 1.5 runs per 9 on 5 hits. They're only getting 5 hits per game. That's disgusting. Cantillo goes no length at all. Probably going to get to the bullpen a little bit early if he gets shielded. So I like Houston. They've won by 2+ runs in 6 of the last 8. Plus money, I think that's a gift. And I'll say this. I know the games haven't kicked off yet or pitched off yet, whatever you want to call it. Houston is extremely short today, like extremely short. Like -130, 140, that's way too short.
So double bubble. Get that in your parlay. We'll go
for sure.
Astros tonight. Gio was absolutely all over it, completely right. What made me laugh most about the Astros-Dodgers series was Altuve just getting loudly booed every time you went up to the plate, and then just smashing it over the fence every time you went to the plate. Like there's a lot to be said for shit like that. I'm all over it. Next game on the board is the Texas Rangers at the LA Angels, 9:38 Eastern. Nathan Eovaldi for Texas and Jose Soriano for the Halos. -120 Texas, -101 the Angels. Total is 8, Lonte.
Yeah, under, man. Texas is an under team. They have won 9 of the last 10 meetings versus the Halos. They're 3-0 this year. They were 12-4 run differential in that 3-game speed. I like Eovaldi's at 2 solid starts after spending about a month on the IL, if I'm not mistaken. He's coming off 5 scoreless versus Baltimore. We talked about Baltimore early on. They've been going well. He's been elite on the road. He's got 1 or less in 4 straight. I like Soriano as well, man. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's like one of the best in the MLB with keeping the ball on the ground. He's got 1 or less in 4 of his last 5. 1 combined run when he went against Houston, who we just talked about, and the Yankees, who we talked about. So 1 combined run against both of those. His hit rate is fluctuated, but I don't really trust Texas offensively to get the job done. So I like the under, man. All 3 earlier meetings went under. I like both pitchers. If you look at the runs scored in those 3 games, 8, 4, and 4, the totals averaged about it was 9, I think 8.5, 9.5, and then 9. So average out about 9. I think under is the way to go. If you want to go first 5 under, I'll put a full unit on that first 5 under and then go half unit on a full game. But I do think the under is the right play. As for the side, maybe take a shot with the Halos at home, but nothing I love more than the under in this matchup.
Yeah, the under jumped off the page immediately. Texas lead the league in unders. 64.4% to the under. It's a huge old number that's on your side there. Lonte tomorrow. You've got Nathan Eovaldi on your side. Quickly back to his best with 5 scoreless against the Orioles. Soriano's home form's bad. That's what got me here. 5.57 ERA. He gave up 8 earned runs in his last home start against Washington. Texas lead the season series 3-0. Angels aren't scoring many runs, which helps you out. Texas are actually quite reliable as favourites, and I think you can take advantage of Eovaldi. -120 with Eovaldi on the mind for me is absolutely fair. So I'm going to take Texas to win. Again, name your score, 5-2, something like that, 4-2 Texas. We land the under, and we land Texas Rangers. Gio reckons it's unders going forward in this league. The pitchers are ahead of the hitters without the juice balls. 9:40 Eastern first pitch. The Arizona Diamondbacks are at the San Diego Padres. Merrill Kelly goes for the Snakes. For the Padres, it will be Nick Pivetta. The Padres are -120. The Diamondbacks are even money, and the total here is 8. Yeah, Lonte, this is you. Go. No, it's not. It's me. Sorry. Merrill Kelly's all right. Merrill Kelly, just one of the most boring pitchers to handicap every week. Like, I just look at his name, and his numbers never change. There's no splits. It's the same number. You just copy and paste the same line home, road, day, night, left, right, like April, May, June. It's just the same, which is good for our point of view. We know what we're kind of going to get. Like 355 ERA, 109 whip. It just doesn't inspire any strong feelings in me, Merrill Kelly, at all. Nick Pivetta has got slightly better numbers. In his last two starts have been very, very good. But the key for me is that he's excellent at home. 6-0 home record, 255 ERA. The Diamondbacks are just 4-10 when facing a starting pitcher with a sub 350 ERA. That is the nerdiest stat I have ever said on this show. And the Padres have won 6 of 8, 6 of the last 8 against the Diamondbacks in total. Yeah, Padres for me, just a close one, but Padres at home -120 seems all right.
No, I had nothing for this game, man. I tried it's just so I don't know when San Diego's been really weird. Arizona, I love their offense, and their offense has been kind of inconsistent as of late, so I kind of can't go there. I mean, they're 3-7 in their last 10. The offense just been up and down, but they're a good offense. I mean, they're a good road offense. They hit righties well. Like you talked about Kelly, just good average numbers. They did take 2 of 3 in Arizona in mid-June. And San Diego's inconsistent offensively as well. I mean, they're hitting 223 the last 10, 2.5 runs per 9. Cease is much better at home. He's got walk issues though. So I struggled in this one, man. I really did. I probably would go under, if anything, with both offenses being kind of up and down. But it is kind of scary with Arizona being so good offensively on the road. But I think I'll just have to take a shot with the under.
I think that's the most defeated by a single game, Lonte, I've ever seen.
Yeah, it got me, man. It got me.
It was too good. Too good for Lonte. 9:45 Eastern. The penultimate game on the show is the Philadelphia Phillies at the San Francisco Giants. Taijuan Walker for the Phillies. Left-handed pitcher Robbie Ray for the Giants, who are -156 favourites. +130 Philadelphia. Total 7.5. Both of us here, Lonte, did a little bit of a double take at the Phillies price of +130 here.
Yeah, man, I looked at it twice. I'm like, wait a minute, now is this right? Yeah, I mean, you got to take the Phillies off principle. You can't take the Giants at home. I don't care who's pitching. Ray's, he's not allowed over 3 runs since mid-April. I get it. He's coming off a complete game where he allowed 2 earned. He does have some home run issues, which Philly can exploit. Philly's 6-4 the last year. It's not like they're playing well. It's not like they're not playing well. They're playing okay. They've been hitting the ball well over the last handful of series. So I just didn't get the price. Sometimes you just gotta trust the numbers. I mean, this is a big number for a San Francisco team who hasn't got it together offensively. Rays had some issues, home runs, walks. I mean, San Francisco's back home after 3 straight road series where they were not really that, good or like 500. So I like the Phillies here, man. This price is kind of absurd to me. So I think we're both going to be on the same side. Unless you got something else that's going to talk me off the Phillies, I'll be on them.
Completely down to the price for me here. My notes say that the Phillies have had mixed results in these kind of bullpen games because Walker's going to serve as a 2-3 inning opener. And the results of those types of games for Philadelphia have been a bit mixed, which made it difficult for me to come down on a side. But I wasn't expecting to see these prices. That's why I was expecting it to be -110 each of 2. Robbie Ray's been great. 257 home ERA. The Giants' bullpen's held up quite well. And on the road, Philadelphia have gone under 10 of 12. 10 of the last 12 have gone under on the road. So 7.5 is a fair total. But that you look at that big, shiny +130. And like a couple of magpies, we've been drawn to it. So, yeah, completely agree. We'll take a little punt on the Phillies at the price. Final game is at 10:05 Eastern between the Atlanta Braves and the Athletics. Didier Fuentes will go for the Braves. For the A's, it will be Jeffrey Springs, left-handed pitcher, -112 the A's, -107 the Braves, and the total is at 10.5. Big old total, that, by the way, 10.5. But I'm fading the Braves and I'm fading Fuentes, and I didn't really have to go much further. I don't mind betting Jeffrey Springs. He's all right. The A's have won 3 of his last 4, so we'll give them a chance. In the Braves, we keep waiting. How many false dawns now this season? Or the Braves back. The Braves are coming. The Braves will be good second half. The Braves will be good next month. Nope, not happening. So officially, I might just put a line through them. Can't bet them. Can't back Fuentes. We've done well fading Fuentes the last few weeks, actually. He's appeared on these Monday and Tuesday shows a lot. But I've got no issue with taking Springs and the A's at -112 here, just because I'm not betting the other side.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think you broke that down beautifully, man. And I think the total is that's the first thing that stood out to me. 10.5 for the Braves offense, who can't score to save their life, not even at home. They're 2-8 the last 10. They were swept at home by Baltimore. We talked about earlier. They've lost 3 straight series. They don't hit lefties well. They're about 224 versus lefties. Don't trust Fuentes. He's not going over 3 innings pitching his last 2 games. We know the A's are going to score. Springs has been okay. I don't really mind him. 3 or less in 11 of his last 12 starts. Only 1 win since May 18th, though, but he is solid at home. 4 of his last 5 starts have been on the road. So I think he can settle in. I like the A's here, but the under is 10.5. I mean, I know that the A's can score, and I know the ballpark is what it is, but 10.5 is a bit high. So I got the A's winning this. Let's go with a good score, man. Let's go 4-2.
4-2 for the A's. That'll do me. Delighted with that. Lonte, good effort. Where you've handicapped all 15 games with pitches and prices. Do you remember whose turn it is this week? Because
it's your turn. I went first last time.
Are you sure?
I think I'm sure.
Okay. Right. So underdogs. Well, I might leave you the Phillies. Actually,
Yeah, man.
Shall I? I'm just trying to think. There was one I liked early on in the piece, and I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, Seattle. Yeah, I'll take Seattle. There's a teeny tiny put me plus 107. Yeah, it just looks like the wrong team favourite for me. Gilbert, yes. Warren, no. Mariners, all right. Yankees, no. Yeah, plus 107 for the Yankees. There's an for the Mariners, sorry. There's an underdog. And my lock will be the Boston team total against Colorado and Cleveland.
Like that.
The game total is 8.5. That's too low, which means Boston need to score 5. They've scored tons of runs at home, 6.18 runs per game. Cleveland gives up that in his sleep. So, yeah, no issues with the Boston team total is my lock, Lonte.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a total. I struggled with which one I wanted to pick. Let's go under 8.5 in Pittsburgh, Kansas City. I mean, I just think both pitchers will go well. I don't trust either offense. Pittsburgh's under in 7 of 10. They don't hit the ball well on the road. Kansas City's under in 6 of 10. Don't trust their offense. I like Lugo, like Keller. So I'm going to go under 8.5. And for the dog, I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Astros plus 110. I mean, I just think Cleveland's dead team walking. They're trying to get to the break. I don't know what they're going to do after the break, but I think Houston is going to put down a lot of runs here. I wouldn't be surprised if they score double digits and win this by 5 or 6 runs. So let's go Houston minus 1.5 at plus 110 for the dog.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable pick, Lonte. That is a top class pick. I adore that. Home run wise, dingers. I can only fade Jake Irvin in this spot. I mean, you called the final score on this one as 9-8. I think you said earlier on. I've taken this into a team total. Jake Irvin is tied fourth on the board for homers, giving up 20. He's given up so far in his start. So we just need to find a St. Louis Cardinal to hit one out. And let's have a pop at Mason Wynn.
I like Mason Wynn.
Might be the answer. You like Mason? All right. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. Mason Wynn, we go.
Yeah, I like Trevor Story. I think Colorado is a good team for him to get right on. He's been on a hit streak. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 game hitting streak. He's had 3 home runs in that span. I do think that he'll be able to get one over. I actually think he might hit one tonight as well. So it might be one of those time traveling dingers that we talked about. But But I do like Trevor Story to have a good game. So I'll be taking his total base props, but his home runs, I think I'm going to bet it tonight and tomorrow just to make sure. So let's go Trevor Story.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well done, mate. Joe Dollar has joined us in the last 1 minute of the show for the sole purpose of trying to agitate me about football. Well, I'm not buying it, Joe, and you shouldn't be selling it. Lonte, that was brilliant. We filled an hour up there, which was good talk. Have you got anything you want to tell the people before we let
I don't,
them
man.
go?
Best of luck. We got some good series. It'll be a good time. And then we got the All-Star break coming up. So, dial back a little bit, kind of get things back in order. Second part of the season is always one of the better parts of MLB for me because we have a lot more data to kind of, and we know what these teams are. So I think second part of the season is going to be real good for us.
Yeah, I forgot about the All-Star break next week. That's it. It's all too fleeting because this is a big old grindy. You think, I've got a couple of days off. And then the next thing you know, it's like, bam, you're straight back into it. But excited. Thanks, mate. That was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. I absolutely loved all the crack in the chat. It perks me up no end. So thank you very much, everyone who joined us. If you ever get the chance, if you're just a regular podcast listener, Spotify or Apple or whatever, try and get yourself along into the YouTube comments, basically for all the Shrewdies, for the panel that was in earlier on, because he'll give you as many winners as anybody else. But thanks, everybody. Good luck with your bets. Scott and Dylan are back tomorrow. We've had a little switch in schedule, and we will see you all down the road.